out for our morning walk. And yeah, it still looks like desert, but check out the flowers. We got whatever these white things are, and these appear to be poppy adjacent based on the leaf structure. And then we've got these pretty purple flowers. Let me get out of this shadow. And what else do we see here? Oh yeah, those are the same purple flowers. But yeah, you know, when you just start looking, it's amazing what you can see. Just look at the seashells even. Look at all the seashells. And yeah, we are right down close to the water. But yeah, very, very cool. What do you think, Kit? Very cool? And look at this. Is this some kind of cedar maybe? I don't know, but the little flowers sure are pretty. Yes, they are. And we're gonna go check this out. When we got here a week or so ago, and look at how fluffy the sand is. People drive down here. I wouldn't risk bringing my rig down here personally. I'm afraid I'd get stuck. In fact, I was talking to a friend of mine that got stuck on another part of the beach here last year. So we're gonna go check out this island. When we got here a week or so ago, this was not an island, just about a week ago. And you can see how wet the sand is. So it was wet all the way up to here. That's about 25 feet of new beach that wasn't here before. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to walk out here without getting my feet wet or not. Let's see. But I really kind of wanted to check it out. I don't think I can do this without getting my feet wet. Trying to take little steps along the edge, but there's a tree here. Okay, I made it. Come on, Kit. You can do it. Get your feet wet. Come on, Kit. Come on, good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Come on. You can't go that way. He wants to go through instead of around. Okay, let's see if we can figure this out. Well, we made it, but at the expense of getting my leg all wet and dirty when I pulled that branch back to make it easier for him. He doesn't really like being in the water. But we're conquering the island, and we saw somebody out here, parked out here yesterday. You can see the tire tracks. And, I mean, if you look at that bush next to the one we just walked around, that one is still well underwater. Ranger told me the water is dropping at the rate of about a foot a week at this point. Can you see all the pretty birds? There they go. So yeah, I saw somebody drive out here yesterday, and they were parked right out here. Okay, I got my shoes a little wet on the inside. Oh well. And yesterday there were a ton of boats out on the lake. Today's Sunday. I don't expect to see as many because a lot of people go home on Sundays. I feel sorry for them, but I'm very grateful for my full-time nomad life that allows me to set my own schedule, go where I want to go, do what I want to do. Yeah, pretty lucky, very blessed. We're gonna go check out the marina next. And if you look up there, let's see if we can zoom in. Yeah, you can just see me parked right up there on top of the mountain. hill, cliff, whatever it is. So yeah, I didn't take the road. I actually came straight down through these hills to get down here today. We might go back up using the road. We'll see. We'll see. But I think it's just a beautiful location. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about today is, you know, what are the top concerns for people that are thinking about taking on this nomad life? Can you see all of the trucks and trailers over there by the boat ramp? Some of which are either putting in or taking out, probably still putting in at this point. And one of the top concerns, of course, is always financial. So I like to say, if this is something you want to do, figure out how to do it sooner rather than later. You know, why spend your life in regret when you can take action to get whatever it is that you truly desire? Oh, now he's going to be all excited about it. Let's see how this goes. You ready? Come on, we're going back. All right, I think I need to do this with no camera because I don't really want to get soaking wet going back through here. So, be right back with you. Well, getting back across the little isthmus, I think that is, was easier than getting out there. Thank heaven. Anyway, the biggest concerns are often financial. Sorry, Kit. I dropped the leash. Okay. And you can do this kind of lifestyle on so many different levels. You know, a lot of people become nomadic not in an RV or a vehicle, but they become nomadic simply by deciding to travel full time. Some people do it on cruises, some people do hotels, or any combination thereof. But my point is that there are lots of ways to figure out the financial aspects. And I'm going to talk about, you know, doing it from the standpoint of traveling in a vehicle. That can be done at so many different levels financially. I happen to choose to do it in a pretty inexpensive way. And yet, even embracing that inexpensive way, by many people's standards, I've done it in a fairly expensive way. And what I mean is, I choose to do a power package, solar and lithium batteries and solar controllers and inverter and all that kind of stuff that allows me to live off-grid comfortably. And the thing that I like to point out is the average campsite cost, whether it's a state park or a RV park or, God forbid, a resort, averages out to $45 a night overall throughout the entire United States. So, for example, you know, I'm in New Mexico state parks right now, and here, if you want water and electricity, then your cost is going to be $14 a night. Pretty cheap. But let's say you want to go to Camp Margaritaville, which I've heard of, never been there, don't even know what they get for it, but I'm going to guess it's probably on the order of $100 a night or more. I think Fort Wilderness by Disney, it's like $140, $150 a night, so that's not cheap. Getting untangled from the leash. So you can see, you know, if you added up an average, the cost for a campground, we're going to go check out the marina over there. Here's a launching or staging location dock. Anyway, if you average it out, you can see how the average really could, as they've professed, comes to about $45 a night. So, I took the amount that I paid for my power package and divided that by 45. And catch this, guys, my payback period is 293 nights. I need to do this math, and if I remember to do it, I'll put it on the screen. So I had my package finished at the beginning of October last year. so I need to add it up. But 293 nights is significantly under a year, right? So now I gotta see how far along I am in that process. I have had electric sites a couple of times since then, but not too many. Come on, kid, leave it. He wants to smell everything on the boat dock. I gotta get up and over to head toward the marina now, and then come back down to the water. So as you can see, you know, if you consider it at $45 a night, that's a pretty quick payback period. And so to me, that makes this be a really frugal way to live. And of course, I do it not only because it's frugal, but because, and let's talk about the definition of frugal, by the way. Frugal does not necessarily mean cheap. It means, from my perspective, value-based, right? So, you know, if you're getting good value for something, that's a frugal purchase. If you're doing something expensive that doesn't really have good value, probably not a frugal purchase. All right, I gotta go up a fairly steep hill here, which you can't tell from the camera. Let me get up to the top, catch my breath, and we'll get back to this discussion. And we're back. So we came from down there. And again, you can't really see how steep that was, but mostly got my breath back. And now we're up here in this upper parking lot, which also gives access to the marina and to, you can actually camp here, by the way. Sorry about my fingers in the lens. Let's try and fix that. And in fact, we did camp here the first night. And when I looked over here yesterday, it was pretty crowded. So the first night, I positioned myself so that I didn't have the view of this thing or this tractor trailer, but I had a view out over the water that direction. And in between these two at the marina, it was actually pretty nice. Only for one night. Once again, let me see if I can show you where we are. We are right up there at the top. Maybe I'll put a narrow one here, make it easier to see. Anyway, yeah, you can actually camp in the parking lot here, but it's pretty unlevel. So I wasn't very level at all when I was here. And when we got here the first day, we got here fairly late in the afternoon, and finding dispersed camping that appeared to be safe was not totally obvious to us. Sorry, it's a little breezy and my nose is running now. So you can see there's a bunch of people parked down here with their boats. And there's people camped down here. And we looked at this setup and would have been able to find a place to fit in. But, and the sand is hard enough that it would have been safe, which is why it is so crowded, and it's pretty crowded down here. But then over there at the far end where those bushes are, that's fairly hard sand too, and at least now it doesn't appear to be very crowded. Okay, so back to finances. So my opinion is that I do this in a very frugal fashion. So that's one aspect of finances. And what about making money, right? Do you need to make money? Well, I quickly found out after I hit the road a couple of years ago, I was still working full time. In fact, I was running a real estate brokerage remotely. My real estate brokerage, I owned it. I had agents that worked for me. I was still working with clients, and I did it all remotely, and it was absolutely fine. But what I realized after my first almost year on the road was that, oh yeah, I actually was in a position where I could see retirement, where before I hit the road, because of having the house to pay for and all of the other stuff that goes around with the typical sticks and bricks life, I could not see that happening ever. I thought I was going to have to work until I died in order to be able to afford my lifestyle. I was wrong. Glad to know. So, camping, swimming, and fishing within 150 feet of dock or any part of marina facility is prohibited. Good to know. I think there's a little marina store way out at the far end here, but I also don't want to get in anybody's way, so I think we're going to just keep moving along. Come on, kid. So, I quickly found out that this, for me, in the way that I choose to do it, is a much less expensive way to live than the way that I had been living in my sticks and bricks life and taking my trailer and then my motorhome out to go on, watch my air quotes, vacation. So, it can be, for many people, a really inexpensive way to live. Other people say, oh yeah, you don't save any money living this lifestyle. Well, and that's their choice. They don't save any money. Oh, look at these pretty yellow flowers. These are the same ones, but there's a group of them here. All right, see this hill coming up here? I'm actually walking uphill across the parking lot and starting to lose my breath. We're gonna get back up to the top here, and then we'll continue this discussion. And you don't really get a sense of just how steep the hill is that I had to come up to get back up here. But it was pretty steep. So, and now we've come past all of the day use area, which is back up the road that way. So this is a paid site right here. And the paid sites along the road here are first come, first serve. And so taking the first come, first serve site doesn't mean it's free, you still have to pay. But it gives you the opportunity to not have to make a reservation to be able to get a site potentially, and that's what we ended up doing. So we spent the first night down there in the parking lot, and then came up here, and I'll show you our site in a minute. But along the way, there are several other things to note. There's that Cruise America we saw down at the bottom. I guess they're looking for a place to camp, or maybe they've got one and they're going back to it. So this is a big group site, which I think is day use only. I don't think this allows overnight camping here. But you have to pay for it's a group shelter. You got to pay for the group shelter separately, and you have to do that by reservation as well. Okay, so back to what we were talking about. What we were talking about was the financial aspects of living on the road. So, as we said, you can choose to do it inexpensively and frugally, as I believe I do, or you can make it be a much more expensive proposition. Nice shelter here. Check that out. I'm going to sit down for a minute because, frankly, I've been walking along for about 5 minutes thinking I was recording and then discovered I wasn't. So we're going to just sit here for a minute. So, what if you need to make money while you're traveling? What if you're not in a position to be able to be retired yet, as I found out I was fortunate enough to do? Well, there's lots of ways to make money. A lot of people have basically regular full-time jobs that they can do remotely. And so that's one way to do it. You can also do part-time seasonal jobs. And that most people think of things like camp hosting and stuff like that when they think about that to begin with. Not something that I'm really interested in doing at this point, but you never know what happens in the future. And if I needed to do it, I would figure out what I need to do to make money, and I'd make enough money to survive. Trust me on that one. What else can you do? You can do things like if you're willing to work as a waiter or a waitress. You know, you can do that temporarily while you're staying in an area for a month or so. A lot of people do things like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Lyft, Uber, Grubhub, delivery services, all those kinds of things. And I mean, if you're already living in a vehicle, well, you got a vehicle, so there's that overcome. And then, you can do that. You don't even have to do it full time. You can do it part time, or you can work really, really hard, do it full time, hit whatever you're doing hard for a couple of months, And then most people are able to take another couple of months off to go travel and see the country and things like that. So there are lots of ways to be able to make this lifestyle work. Come on, Kit, leave it. He's finding too many things to snarfle on the ground there. Lots of ways to make this lifestyle work if you're willing to think about your options, work through your options, and choose what you really want. And you know, I'm a big proponent of that, of, you know, getting what it is that your heart truly desires. And so, you know, what about other financial aspects? What about things like medical insurance and stuff like that? That's a little bit tougher for most people who are not yet 65. I'm on Medicare, but I have a Medicare Advantage plan with Kaiser, and Kaiser's not available in every state. So basically, I've got emergency coverage no matter where I am, and that's okay for the moment. But one of my choices, now that I'm selling my house, is once that's done, I will no longer be considered a California resident. My license and my rig are both in Nevada, titled Nevada. And so I'm going to have to look at alternative Medicare plans, and I'm going to look at one that is more easily accessible nationwide. And again, at this point, not an issue for me. I'm perfectly healthy. I don't take any medication. I don't expect to have anything go wrong, but better to be prepared. So that's kind of my thought process on the whole medical insurance thing. Now, if you're younger and you're less healthy, I apologize. I don't really have anything to offer except to say, figure out what you need and then figure out how to get it. We're going to walk across here to the playground. So we got vault toilets right here near us. We've got a trash can. There's a hose bib down at the end of the playground. And there's another hose bib down at the end of our site. So that's really cool. And then I'll show you where we're camped in just a moment. But let's see if Kit wants to do some agility this morning. Sometimes he does. Sometimes he doesn't. We'll see. Cool little playground. And he seems to like it pretty well. He hasn't done the slides yet. But let's see if he wants to do this one today. Hey, Kit. Come here, Kit. You want to go up, up? Up, up? Good job. Okay, now I have to go up, up too, because I can't pass the leash through. Don't jump. Keep going. Keep going. Good job. Good job. Okay, he doesn't like to go down first on the stairs, but he will do it. And the stairs are really too small for my feet, so bear with me. Oh, and you came down right behind me, so I didn't get to show the people. Sorry, guys. But yeah, he likes doing the agility stuff. So we've been practicing that wherever we go, too. Let's walk the line. And this is how we got started with this. Hey, Kit. Up, up. Good job. Walk the line. This one's a really big line. Don't go that way. See how cool he is? Good job. Good job. I got swings. And the loop that I walk is out here on the other side of the playground. And as I said, it's about 2 miles. It's about a half a mile over there to that campground loop, which has the only operational bathrooms. I'm going to walk over there later today and take a shower. Not too much later because it's supposed to get windy. And I meant to go take a shower yesterday, and then I forgot until it got super windy, and I didn't feel like doing that extra mile each, or half mile each way in the wind. And in part because, you know, you get out of the shower, you're all clean, and who wants to get dirty again? So here's Henry, such a good-looking guy, and been here with my friend Donna down at the far end, and then our friend Kathleen showed up serendipitously, I don't think I quite said that right, and ended up camping with us. So we've been together for a few days. We're going to be here a few more days before we leave. And yeah, here's my beautiful view. I get the marina, I get the lake. That's our cabana over there. It's been great to sit in the afternoons. So yeah. All right, so let's wrap this up real quick. Wow, I desperately need a haircut. I haven't cut my hair in over 3 weeks, or 3 months now, I think. I'll get there eventually. So, beautiful view of the lake behind me. What's my point here? I think part of my point is don't let fear hold you back. If financial concerns are your biggest issue with starting your full-time life, or starting your travel life, or whatever it is that you want to start, don't let financial issues stand in your way. First of all, you may find out that they're different than you expected them to be. And secondly, just make a plan. Figure it out. It's not that hard. As always, I'd appreciate it if you leave a comment down below, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and know that I appreciate each and every one of you who give up your precious time to watch my videos. It would also really help. A couple of things that would really help is, share them with your friends, introduce them to the content as well, and watching all the way through to the end, as you have obviously done to get to this point, definitely helps the YouTube algorithm. And if you really want to help out, if you pick a playlist, I'd recommend all videos in chronological order and let that play from start to finish. That would really help as well.